And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? We are now officially in Fractured and Alterac Valley.
Whatever do you mean by that, Zerotio?
I mean Alterac. Sorry, Alterac. Sorry. Um, yeah. So Alterac Valley is here, or some are calling it Owl-terac Valley.
Yep.
We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but before we get into that, let's talk about our week in Hearthstone. Aside from, obviously, we've been playing some Alterac Valley, but aside from that, I got Legend 2 days into the set on the 9th.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
And I'll talk about what decks I was using when we get a little further into the news. But I just kind of gradually went up. I was focusing on getting honor points, not really legend ranks, which again, I'm really liking this honor system. And I would love them to do something like this for more events coming forward. Because it allows me to focus on something other than just getting stars. And then all of a sudden I was sitting at work enjoying a little ETT, and I was like, I'll get one game in real quick, and I was like, whoa, I'm rank 1 3 stars. So I played a game, won, got legend, took a screenshot, put my phone down, and finished what I was doing, and then posted up to our patron-only Discord that you can be part of by going to patreon.com/hero power.
When you put your phone down, were you roping?
Well, no, the game was done, but I might have been roping, because remember, if your opponent's roping, they might be wiping. Made sure to clean off my phone real good, as I normally do. Hygiene is very important, especially nowadays in days of pandemic. And yeah, legend on. Of course, I got Diamond 5 before the new set came out, which is, I tend to do that, and just kind of climb through, focusing just on honor, and got legend fairly easily. Was sitting right around a 72% win rate total between the two decks that I was playing up to that point. And yeah, I'm really liking the set. I'm also really liking Mercenaries. The only problem I'm having is they put out new Mercenaries, and of course with Alterac Valley came Vanessa Van Cleef. And so I'm split. I in the morning usually I'm trying to do my merc bounties and tasks and work on a little bit of leveling, and then once all my tasks are done, then I try to focus a little bit on ladder, and I've got 2 modes I'm bouncing between, and I can't pick one. And that's not a bad thing. I like it, but it is frustrating, especially when I'm trying to do things like legend. And now that I've got legend, it's like, do I just stop and just focus on mercenaries? But I also want to get the honor points. There's just a lot to do, and I want to play some battlegrounds because I haven't been able to play with scabs yet. Duels has been getting new content. There's just so much to do, and I'm loving it. It's frustrating because I want to do everything, but at the same time, I'm really loving Hearthstone right now. It's probably the best it's ever been.
Don't we say that every expansion, though, for the first week?
No, because we didn't Rostacon's Rumble. I know that for sure.
We didn't for Rostacon's Rumble.
And I think there's been a couple that I'm like, the meta's been the best it's ever been, but not necessarily Hearthstone as a whole. I know I've said before that I love a certain meta, but the ladder still feels like a grind.
Yeah.
And once I get legend, I don't feel like playing anymore. But now I'm legend, and I still want to play because I want to get those honor points. And to me, once I get legend, there's the likelihood of, if I focused on just one or two decks, I could possibly push up to 11x, maybe top 1,000, top 500. But that's not how I want to play Hearthstone. I want to play fun, janky decks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play Regis Kilpin decks, Funky Monkey decks. I want to play unique combos and unique finishers and not worry about my rank. And it feels like I'm usually detrimental when I do that. But now that we have this honor system event going on, it feels like I can just get in and lose a bunch in a row and still feel like I'm progressing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you may not be progressing up stars, but you're still constantly progressing up the honor system.
Yeah.
Because even if you lose, you're still earning honor.
Exactly. And you're still, there's also the rewards track. You still, even with losses, you get, progress rewards track, but it's not a lot of progress, and even a win doesn't give you a ton of progress. You have to finish the quests and stuff. If you've done all your weeklies and dailies, then you just wait till tomorrow and do some more. But with this honor system event for Alterac Valley, it feels like playing Hearthstone. No matter what I'm doing, what deck I'm playing, I always feel like I'm progressing something.
Yeah.
And that feels good. The only thing about the event that I don't like, and this is a very minor nitpick, is if I want to focus on mercenaries or even battlegrounds, I don't get any progress to my honor. So if they do this event in the future, I'd like to find some way to include mercenaries, even if they have to do just fire pit.
Mm-hmm.
The fighter pit. If they just do the fighter pit, where PvP battles give you honor, and maybe in battlegrounds you get honor based on your ranking in the battleground. I mean, it's called Battleground, and Alterac Valley is a battleground, so I don't know why it can't be included.
Yeah.
If those two things could be included somehow, the event would be so much better. But honestly, I'm fine. I'm happy with it as it is.
That's good. That's good. I have absolutely been loving this week in Hearthstone. Gotten back to really enjoying Battlegrounds now that Diablo is gone. I've, won a couple more. I think I said this last week, but I got Ysera yet again this week. And, lo and behold, another automatic first place. It's like, you get Ysera, you're guaranteed first place.
Yeah, you're really good at Battlegrounds. Kind of the joke on the show is that I'm good at Hearthstone, and I'll never say I'm the best, but I'll always say I'm better than Avanties.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll go on the record today, and it might be, the couple drinks I've had tonight, but when it comes to Battlegrounds, you're better than I am. And I love playing Battlegrounds with you on the show because you teach me how to play better. And I wish you played more because I think you could get really high in the ranks. But if you're enjoying Battlegrounds, it's in a good spot.
Yeah, I am. And I will say this, though. I played about 6 games this week of Battlegrounds. And in 4 of those, I was offered scabs.
Ooh. Did you deny them?
No. I mean, I played him a couple of times, and then I denied him a couple of times because there were better options. But it was
you feel
weird that I got him 4 times out of 6 in my lineup.
Well, I mean, you do have the perks.
Yes. So
you are going to have the chance to get him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he's out to the public yet. Plus, you also have 4. Is it 4 that you get to pick
4,
from?
You get to choose from one of 4, yeah.
For 4. So your probability of getting scabs is higher there. So I doubt there's a built-in, boost to him. But how do you think Scabs feels? Did you like him?
The first game I played with him, I didn't do real well because I was still trying to kind of figure him out. I didn't do well at all. The second game I played, I did better, but I feel like it was my tribe that carried me more so than his hero power. I'm
Okay.
not real sure I like him right now.
And to remind of his hero power, it's 2 gold cost, and you discover a plain
Copy
minion
of a
from
minion from your next opponent's warband.
the next opponent, not your current
Right.
opponent.
So to
Not your
put this
previous
out there,
opponent.
the first like 2 turns of the game, your hero power is completely worthless because your opponents may not have a
Yeah.
minion.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
you can't even really use your hero power until like turn 4 and
Yeah, but
expect it to be, or actually no, honestly you can't even really use it until like turns 5 or 6 and expect it to yield anything worthwhile, because turn 1 they don't have a minion, turn 2 they might have one, turn 3 they might have one still, but
economically, it really doesn't make sense to use a 2 gold hero power the first couple turns, anyways, because it's really you end up floating a lot of gold
that's
that doesn't
true.
make sense.
That's true.
So I can understand not using it first, second, third. Turn 3, I could see it used, being used, because buying a minion and using your hero power is 5 total.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to get a very good minion.
Right. So outside of Battlegrounds, I have been playing a lot of ladder standard constructed this week because I wanted to check out a lot of the new stuff. I am 6 or 7 cards short of a full set. I'm missing.
I think
5.
I'm like 8.
I'm missing 5 legendaries and a couple of epics, and that's all.
That's where I'm at. I think I'm exactly 5 legendaries and like 3 epics.
Yeah. So I'm getting close. I did end up I pulled one of the big ones that I was missing that I wanted was Cariel, the hero, and I pulled her out of a pack, and then I crafted Sadan, the Scarlet Monastery guy.
Yes.
I crafted him because the deck we're actually playing tonight on the show is Handbuff Paladin. And so I've been playing that deck quite a bit. I've been playing a lot of Frost Shaman. I am absolutely loving Frost Shaman. It's one of the most fun decks I've played in a long time. And then I'm playing Combo Rogue, and I'm playing a big Taunt Druid that Matt at Arms shared with us.
Oh, cool.
So those are the 4 decks I have been kind of tinkering with this week.
So we'll just kind of get into our first line of news, which is Fractured in Alterac Valley dropped on December the 11th, December the 7th. Today is
How many
currently
of those
December
drinks have you had?
Today is currently December the 11th, so we've been in this meta for approximately 4 days. I've been playing a Quest Tavish Secret Hunter.
Ooh.
Which got me all the way up to Diamond 1.
Okay.
Then I started running into some problems. People are figuring out how to work well against the secrets. They know what main secrets you're running in that deck. And furthermore, the deck it was farming started becoming a little more streamlined, and it stopped farming it because people were changing their builds up. And I'll talk more about that deck in a minute. But the deck I switched to get Legend was the Handbuff Paladin we're going to play on the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then since I've been in Legend, I've been playing Language Hackers, Corrupt Frost Shaman.
Ooh.
So it uses Corrupt cards and Frost Frost spells and Frost cards, synergy cards, to eventually get you to the Bolner Yasharaj combo. where
Okay.
you Bolner, then you Lightning Bloom, then you Yasharaj. And then you cast all your dunk tanks, and you can obviously keep going with dunk tanks and the medics. And if you haven't cast any medics, you can then just use the parrots to then do Yasharaj all over again. So that's a fun deck. It doesn't have a great win rate, so that's kind of there. It's just more of a fun deck I'm playing while I'm in Legend. I have a lot of other decks I want to try out, but what decks have been standing out to you other than the ones you were playing?
So, of the decks I have not been playing, the one that has really kind of stood out to me is Warlock.
Okay.
Warlock is so stinking strong right now. It's not even funny.
So when you say Warlock, you're talking about the Humongous Owl OTK
Tamsin
Warlock,
OTK,
right?
yeah. The
Okay, so
phylactery, yeah,
yes.
it's
So that's the deck I want to talk about, and that's the deck I was farming with the Hunters, but I was losing to Paladin, but I was seeing more Warlock, so I was farming it, and then the deck started streamlining, and the people playing the decks just got better at figuring out what order they need to do things. And so here's the combo. Humongous Owl is a 7-mana 8/8 with the Death Rattle.
no, it's an 8/3
Yeah, I'm sorry, 8/4. It's an
or
8/4.
8/4, yeah.
It's a 7-mana 8/4 with a Death Rattle that does 8 damage to a random enemy. It could be face, it could be minion, just a random enemy. I thought this card might have some crazy powerful OTK potential in Priest with the Death Rattle. They just keep bringing it back and killing it, bringing it back, killing it, and then they use Zyrella to do a bunch of the Humongous Owl ticks. What I didn't think was going to happen at first, and I saw Fino do a short clip of this. I actually was Play Hearthstone that tweeted a clip of Fino pulling this combo off, but I thought it was just going to be a meme and not something that could be easily done. But they used the weapon. I think it's the Jewel Kit. No, not Jewel Kit. The Inscription Rod, maybe? Chanter's Rod. But it's the Warlock weapon that after you draw 4 cards, your entire hand goes down in 1 cost, and it has 2 durability. It loses 2 durability by doing that twice. So they reduce their hands, the cost so low, and they just have draw engine, and life gaining engine. They don't even interact with your board at all unless they absolutely have to. And they get a Humongous Owl out and immediately kill it that same turn. And then they end up summoning a bunch of imps with Tamsin, and then they use the phylactery and then get a free phylactery, and then they use like school spirits to clear their own board.
Right.
Doing like ungodly, like 80 damage to your face.
Yeah.
It's absolutely oppressive. It's really, really hard to deal with. There are techs to kind of beat it by, maybe having a Mutanus and trying to hit the owl, but a lot of times...
Well, I've actually seen... So, some of the early builds of this deck were only running 1 owl. Yes. Because they were like, I don't need more than 1. I'll get it on the board, kill it, do this, that.
Yes.
Well, they were finding some people were able to polymorph it or hex it or remove it, and then it was just an auto concede because your win condition's gone.
Yes. I think it was Brian Kibler had a clip that I saw that he used Savory Deviant Delight, I think it was what it was, and hit the Humongous Owl. I can't remember if it was Kibler or if it was somebody else, but I did see a clip where Savory Deviant Delight turned the owl into a pirate, and the opponent just conceded.
Yeah.
And so now they're starting to put 2 owls in the deck, and I am seeing, and I know in Language Hacker's deck, he has Mutanus, and then he also, if he doesn't hit the Owl, he will use the Parrots to just repeat Mutanus's ability trying to hit the Owls. It's kind of hard to hit it, but if you do, usually win the game. However, some of these lists are starting to put 2 Owls in there now.
Yep.
So they aren't dead in the water, and because it draws so much, they're likely going to get those 2 Owls and reduce the cost of the Owls pretty quickly. So that's the biggest standout deck I've seen. There's been lots of other decks. Quest Line Mage. The no minion version is still being played. And I did say in our reviews that there are some of those cards would go well in that deck. I didn't think the deck would necessarily have a high win rate, and I still don't. I just think people that love that deck are going to keep playing that deck.
Yeah.
There's also a Mozaki Mage variant of the quest line, which pretty much the only minion in the deck is Mozaki. And that deck is getting a little higher win rate because they end up just finishing you off with ignites that are 15, 16 damage because Mozaki's making them bigger and it's getting bigger naturally.
Right.
So there are some really fun, good decks out there, but when it comes down to it, I think the Owl-terac Warlock is...
You mean Owl-terac in Alterac Valley?
Yes. I think that deck is going to be...
If you say it's a hoot, I'm going to end this podcast right now.
Okay, well then I won't use that joke. I think it's going to be oppressive. It feels bad to lose against, and it also wins really, really easy.
Yeah,
it plays solitaire, and solitaire decks have been kind of frowned upon. It doesn't get to that. If it was a combo deck that needed to get to like turn 10 plus, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I've seen that whole combo go off on turn 7.
Yeah,
because they've been able to reduce their whole hand size because of the enchanting rod. So I think it needs to be addressed. I don't know if Owl needs to go to 9 mana, or if I don't think the phylactery needs to be hit. Maybe the rod needs to be hit. Maybe it needs to be more expensive, or how it. They don't like to change the text too much.
Right.
But something in the deck needs to be addressed. And I worry if it's not addressed this week, it's going to dominate World Championships.
Yep.
Which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
I think if you can address just the Owl-terac, just that combo, not necessarily all of Warlock, but just that combo, then the rest of the meta is pretty balanced. Paladin's pretty strong, but it has its counters. Shaman's doing really good right now, but it has kind of a balanced win rate. It's not really, doesn't have any majorly leaning matchups. Hunter's really not that great overall. I was just having good success early, and I think that was just kind of fleeting because people weren't learning that Warlock deck yet.
Right.
A Priest is not in a bad spot. The Resurrection Priest is doing pretty good. Mage is winning. Whether it's a high win rate or not, people are at least enjoying the decks. I think most of the classes are being played. Even Demon Hunter is getting played quite a bit. I'm seeing kind of a spread of all the classes, but the Warlock just seems to be oppressing. And I always say there's always going to be one best deck. The trick is you want to make sure that best deck isn't like has this huge disparity of win rate.
Right.
And it's still early to start talking about win rate. I mean, we're just 4 days in. You want to give that a week or two before we start looking at HS replay data. But I think we're going to start seeing that Warlock deck's going to have high win rates in one direction and then high losing rates in the other. It is bad against highly aggressive metas, like highly aggressive decks, like the Druid decks, and even a pure Face Hunter. It's bad against. The problem with that is Team 5 has come out and said that this meta they want to slow it down some. So if to tackle the quote unquote best deck in the meta right now, you have to play a fast deck. It goes against what they were wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they wanted to slow it down so that you can have those more build-up games like you do with decks like Paladin and Priest. But obviously with the Humongous Owl OTK, you can't do that because they're just going to kill you from hand. So to beat that, you have to play aggressive. Well, aggressive playstyles is a meta we've had the last 2 sets, and Team 5 wants to get away from that. So I hope they make some changes. I would like to see them before World Championships, but with no kind of mention, even the Friday before, which would have been yesterday at the time of this recording. I don't see them making a change on Tuesday before the World Championships without saying anything till Monday. That would be too much of a
right.
That too much of a short notice with World Championships on the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my rant's done. I'm done with my rant.
It was a good one. It was one of the better ones.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, all right. So, what besides Warlock, which you just talked about, is there anything out there right now besides that you feel like really needs to be addressed or balanced?
I don't, and I know a lot of people will say Cariel needs to be addressed. But to those people, I say run Weapon Destruction.
Okay.
Run Weapon Destruction, maybe some silences if you're worried about the buffs. Maybe put some board clears in your decks.
Yeah, yeah.
Control Warrior starting to come back, and it has some 1 damage clears to get rid of Divine Shields. It still has Brawl. So when you got these big hand buff minions, taking it down to 1 minion can swing the game. And I know a lot of people say, well, you can't even play Face Hunter against it because your hero power do 1 damage.
Right.
Then run Weapon Destruction.
Let me tell you, Cariel feels really strong when you're playing her.
Yes, but I've had somebody right after playing I played Cariel destroy my weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up taking a hold of the game like right away. And it was less about the damage they were doing and the fact that I did not have an endless 2 damage board clear or face attack.
See, I feel like the endless weapon isn't really a big deal. It's the half damage.
Sure. The half damage
I was
is
losing.
Important.
I was losing. I should have lost a game. I played Cariel, and that 2 damage when it comes into play, and then the half damage won me the game. I was able to come back and clear enough of the board. My opponent just straight conceded because they were frustrated.
And I get that. The half damage is impactful, but you can't forget that you now have a free hunter hero power every turn.
That's true. You
can swing that weapon to face every turn, and it's like having a free hunter hero power. So you can't, and the fact that you're taking half damage is also detrimental because they can't race you at that point. And I know a lot of people say, well, if you have to put a tech card to counter a specific deck, then it's going to make your deck worse. I disagree with that, especially when the tech card has tradable.
Mm-hmm.
And right now with the Rustrock Viper, we can have a tradable minion that can help us with card draw and getting what we need before we need to destroy a weapon. And then we have Weapon Destruction. And right now we have Control Warrior is in the meta. It's not super powerful,
Mm-hmm.
but it's in the meta, so you have weapons there, and the Bulwark and the weapon from Rakara. You have Cariel's weapon. You have the weapon in Owl-terac Warlock. If you can
The
destroy
rod,
that,
yeah.
yeah, if you can destroy the rod before they have a chance to do the first durability on it,
Mm-hmm.
that really shuts. That's 2 total cost reduction in their hand that they lose,
Right.
slowing down their combo. So I think Rustrot Viper is going to be a card that's needed to grab a hold of this meta.
Right. More than just a tech, but
More than just a tech.
yeah.
I think Rustrot Viper, like we have in some metas in the past, put Ooze in, and we've been told by Zacho, and Vicious Syndicate, and Ridiculous Hat, and a few other people that if you have to run tech cards, you're making your deck worse. I agree to an extent, but in a meta that's dominated with a specific type of card, tech cards can then take over the meta. And I think in this case, if you're having trouble with this meta, I think if you run Rustrot Viper, that will shore up a lot of, just take out a card that's not doing really well in those matchups,
Mm-hmm.
and slot in a Rustrot Viper, maybe 2 if you're really worried, but I think just 1 is enough. And you're gonna shore up your matches against Paladin, Control Warrior if you're having a bad matchup against that, possibly Shaman because they're running some weapons in some of the Shaman lists, not so much the Frost list.
Frost. All the Frost lists I've seen are running Auction House Gavel because there's so many battle cries in the deck.
Let's say the corrupt version I am aren't.
Right.
But,
well, corrupted version, but you're also running it in Legendary, where the decks are more experimental and for fun.
That's also true at low legend. And so it'd be good to get Shaman against the Gavel, and of course the Warlock or OTK being able to get rid of that rod is really important. And if you're really having trouble with Warlock, that's where I think you run 2 Rustrot Vipers,
Mm-hmm.
because I did have one match. I played a Rustrot Viper, destroyed their rod. They immediately played a second rod the next turn, and I wasn't able. I was digging for my parrot to try to get another rod.
Yeah.
Destruction from the Rustrot Viper battle cry.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I ended up losing that match. So I think if I would have had the second activation of Rustrot Viper, I could have won that match easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Rustrot Viper is going to be the card that needs to go in decks, and we might see that tech card as an inclusion in Worlds this week.
Oh, I guarantee we'll see it.
Yeah.
So let's
again. I don't think the lists are public yet, mainly because we don't know if last minute balance changes are going to happen. Right. So,
well, let's talk about Worlds. So there was a tweet yesterday, I think it was, talking about, huh?
Yeah, it was the 10th, approximately just before 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, so where they actually said, hey, make sure to tune in to 2021 World Championships next weekend, December 18th through the 19th. And it was like, oh, that's a thing that's still happening, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to this. Now, we don't have really any of the common faces we're used to seeing.
Let's not talk about faces in Worlds.
Friends, we'll talk about that in a minute. But friend of the show, Language Hacker, he's not in it this year for the first time in what?
4 years? 5 years?
4 years now. We haven't seen Luna Love.
Yep.
Luna Love has been in the last 3 World Championships, and she's not going to be there this year, which is amazing to me because I thought she was a shoo-in to get in, and it just didn't line up this year.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually fighting to not be relegated. I don't think she was relegated. I haven't been paying as much attention with my work schedule, but our 8 competitors this year are Possessi, last year's champion Glory, Nalgadon, Gabby, Zhao Bai, Frenetic, Ting Ming, and your favorite, McBanterface.
Don't say my favorite. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
So I personally have played alongside and with McBanterface. He's been a THL staple over the last few seasons. He's a good member of the community. I know you're not a fan of his name, but we could have McBanterface as a champion.
If you could pick the absolute stupidest name in all of Hearthstone to be world champion, then congratulations, McBanterface. You're already a winner.
All right, good job. Yeah, there we go. Here's the thing: we've had worse names in Hearthstone, even in competitive Hearthstone.
Have we?
In
Though?
championships not so much. But I think McBanterface would be a good champion.
He might be, but look, if I have to pick somebody out of this list of 8 players, which I can tell you right now, nobody on this list excites me enough to make me want to take time out of my day to tune into the World Championships. There is not a player here that makes me want to go, oh man, 2021 World Championships are next weekend. I'm excited. No. If I have to pick one of these players, it's probably going to be Nalgwadon, because he is probably one of the most experienced tournament players in this lineup.
So Nalgwadon, to me, it impresses me that Nalgwadon is here because he has personally come out and said that he doesn't practice like the other grandmasters do, and he kind of just goes with his gut and uses lineups his team is prepared and just plays. And he's even been called out by Gallon as not taking grandmasters seriously.
No, I remember.
And he still finds ways to get to the World Championship. So that's impressive. Don't get me wrong. But the name on here that I would love to see win, and I think has been in the competitive scene a tad bit longer than Nalgwadon, is Glory, our last year's champion. And if Glory wins, not only would he be the first 2-time champion, he would also be the first back-to-back champion.
Yeah.
And we've had these situations before where Tom 60229 came in and we thought he might try to win, and we've had other players. I think Tom 60229 was the closest to winning a second. But I think Glory has what it takes to become our first 2-time champion and put APAC back in the talk. We've been talking about how EU's been dominating, and then China's really stepped it up, especially since VK Lions championship win, and a lot of your Chinese players are going to Masters tours and doing really well there. And we know that America's has kind of fallen off in their competitiveness, but the APAC region is still there, and they're just not talked about enough. I mean, I know Gia really speaks them up, but she's an APAC caster. I think that Glory is the type of champion that I want to represent us as a 2-time champion. He has a good practice ethic. He has really good play ethic. He is very humble in his victories. I think Glory is my pick to win the 2021 championship.
Okay. I think I can see that. Glory could have the best chance. Like I said, I like Nalgwadon for his experience in these high pressure situations. He's been to a lot of these events. We'll have to see what happens if if neither one of them make it, if McBannerface makes it, I look forward to his. I look forward to his branding deals and being able to hit the drive-through and order my big McBannerface combo with a large fry and a large
Oh,
Coke.
I would order a McBannerface combo so fast. If they had a collector's cup, I'd buy it thrice.
So, I mean, he's already got it right there in the name. You just roll up, be like, "Hey, McDonald, I need a McBannerface."
I would order that. I think McBannerface, he has very unique deck lists, and I don't see his style of play winning world championships, because I don't think at this point he can catch them off guard, catch these players. Because you have the likes of EU domination of Gabby and Frenetic. The Chinese contingent of Zhao Bai and Tian Ming are both really, really good.
Yeah.
And Tian Ming is kind of a sleeper to me. I think we could see Tian Ming in the finals.
Okay.
We haven't seen the brackets yet, so we don't know how they line up.
Yeah.
But Glory versus Tian Ming would be very interesting finals to me because of the way they play. Yeah. And I think of all the players that's going to give Glory the most trouble, it's going to be Tian Ming.
Okay, well.
But I say Glory. Now, here's my question. How do we think, if there are no balance changes before the World Championships, how do we think Alterac is going to impact the World Championships? Do we think that it'll be dominated with Owl-terac?
I think every player has to bring Owl-terac to be competitive.
So here's my question.
Because it is so strong right now.
If you were a championship competitor this year, and you know that Owl-terac is going to be brought by probably everybody to either draw a ban or get one definite victory, do you load up with counters with nothing but weapon destruction and hand manipulation and deck manipulation and just try to counter Owl-terac?
I don't know that that's going to work. I would like to think it would. But, what are you going to do if, like you said, Owl draws the ban every time and you've loaded up on weapon destruction and you're running into Beast Druid or you're running into Tavish Secret Hunter,
The first thing I would say is I wouldn't bring Owl-terac if I'm going to counter it. I bring 4 decks that are focused on countering it. I don't ban the Warlock in that case.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring things like Demon Hunter, and maybe I throw 2 glides in there to throw off their hand draws. And when they got a bunch of cards, I put them all back in their deck. They lose their cost reductions. They only have 4 cards left in their hand. Then maybe I make sure put Mutanus in a lot of my decks. Maybe I do run Save
Do you think we're going to see a lot of Priest? Do you think Priest is going to be another of those decks that's almost universally brought?
I don't think so, because I think it's too slow and it does get farmed by combo decks. Like the Owl-terac, it just takes too long to build up. But if you can put enough counters in the deck to counter the Owl-terac, if you can put techs in there, but I don't think there's enough techs in Priest to be able to do that. I think I would bring a Demon Hunter, probably Shaman, Rogue, and then it's kind of a coin flip for the 4th one. That might be what causes the problem, is finding that 4th deck that can counter the Owl-terac might be the problem.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be. We'll have to wait and see what the Grandmasters bring before.
Which is why I'm really excited to watch this World Championships, because I honestly hope there aren't nerfs, and they help us figure out how to deal with the humongous owl menace.
We are recording this episode on Saturday, December the 11th, so the Hearthstone 2021 World Championships will be taking place exactly 1 week from today, starting on December the 18th. So we might have to rearrange our recording schedule next week and try to record an episode after you get off work Sunday so that we know how it all plays out.
Maybe that may be something we need to do, because
So
it's going to be a very interesting thing to talk about next week, because I want to see how, because obviously, less than a weekend, we're going to say there's one deck we have to beat and that's dominating the meta, needs nerfs, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, it's the competitive environment that tells us how to counter it. When we start seeing the conquest lineups, seeing how people address it, that's when then the ladder is going to start changing. And that's what I'm excited to see. And we might even see those changes as early as deck submissions. So probably Thursday or Friday, whenever they make those public, we'll know what decks the Grandmasters are bringing to try to beat the meta. And then you're going to see the ladder shift. Yeah. And for that, I'm excited.
So let's talk about a deck we've not said we may see at Worlds. And that is the Handbuff Paladin with some of the new hotness from Owl-terac Valley. No owls needed for this deck. Just good old beat. So I'm going to run this deck list down, and then we'll let Zerotio kind of tell you a little bit about it. So the deck list is 2 Iron Deep Trog, 2 Knot of Anointment, 1 Prismatic Jewel Kit, 2 Righteous Protectors, 2 Hand of Adal, 1 Murger McGurgle, 2 Noble Mounts, 2 Ram Commanders, 2 Alliance Bannermen, 2 Goody 2 Shields, 2 Hold the Bridge, 1 Sidan the Scarlet, 2 Stonehearth Vindicators. That's 2/3 of the deck, and we're just now getting out of the 3-cost minions.
Yes.
So then you have 1 copy Blademaster Samuro, 1 Cariel Roam, 2 Sunwing Squawkers, 1 Blessing of Authority, 1 Battleground Battlemaster, and 1 Lightforged Cariel.
Yeah, so the kind of big hitter here, and I do think majority-wise in a 4-deck lineup, we probably will see a Handbuff Paladin and a version like this, especially because of Iron Deep Trog. Iron Deep Trog out early and buffed, especially if he gets a Divine Shield, and your opponent almost has to use a spell to get rid of it, that can be very oppressive and has pulled really early concessions for me.
Okay.
So Iron Deep Trog is kind of the standout to me as one of the better cards here if you can get it out early and get it to stick. Obviously, the rest of this is very Handbuff. I mean, if you played Handbuff Paladin in the past, you pretty much know this deck. Ram Commander is an interesting addition here because it gives you, it's 2 mana for, I think it's a 2/2, that gives you 2 1/1 rushes for 1 mana in your hand. And if you can buff those rushes, those basically become board removal cards for you. And then if you couple them with Divine Shield buffs and things like that, you can bring back your health. You can clear a minion and still have a minion on the board. Coupling it with Hold the Bridge. Hold the Bridge is a 3 mana spell that gives a minion, is it +2/+1?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
+2/+1, and
Divine
it gives it Divine Shield, and then Lifesteal for just that turn.
Yeah.
So that's really, I mean, that can bring you back. Obviously, Sunwing Squawkers are really good with any Divine Shield buffs or even Blessing of Authority. Battleground Battlemaster just wins you games. And then Lightforged Cariel is that kind of nail in the coffin for your opponent if they're playing a very aggressive strategy and they're trying to race you, they just can't race you at that point.
Right.
So this deck is just good. I used it to get my last few wins I needed for Legend, and it's fun too.
Yeah.
I love Paladin. Paladin's kind of my jam. It's what I like to do. So yeah, well, I'm excited to play this deck.
Yeah.
Well, how was your experience with the deck?
Do what?
How was your experience with the deck?
So I have played probably 5 or 6 games with it, and the only thing I lost to was like a big minion taunt paladin that just kept bringing back big taunt minions. I ran out of resources and could not get through all of the taunts that kept coming back.
Okay. Were they using the rush that makes more taunts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that with that card with Divine Shield buffs can really kind of block you out. This deck doesn't have a lot of removal, like pure spell removal. It doesn't run Lord Barov. It doesn't run any consecrations. Doesn't run any board clears. Just kind of spot removal using the rush minions. And Samuro is kind of the one big board clear.
Samuro is your big board clear, yeah.
So that's something you gotta. If they put a roadblock in front of you, you kind of get stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way to beat this deck. It's hard to race it down. When I was playing my, it sounds weird, the Quest Tavish Secret Hunter. Anytime I played against the Handbuff Paladin or I queued up a Saul Paladin, I hard mulliganed for Tavish the hero card. And what I would do is I would try to do the first part of the quest and 1 damage spell into the second part. Then I would play Tavish, do another damage spell, and now I have an Animal Companion for 0 mana. Okay. Then I finish the quest, and it refreshes as 0 mana anytime I cast a spell. And I just would load up the board with a bunch of Leox and Huffers and Mishas. And while the hero power was only doing 1 damage, the Huffers were doing 3 and 4 damage per hit because they were buffed up to like 7 attack and 8 attack. So I actually won a lot of those matches by trying to focus on getting the new hero card and then finish the quest
using
to make
that
it
hero
free.
Power.
Yeah. So refreshing the Animal Companion hero power instead of your 2 damage to face hero power, which only becomes 1 damage with Cariel.
Right.
So I did win quite a few matches when I decided to play that way. It wasn't a majority of the wins. It still was a bad matchup, but they took a bad matchup into a win by playing that direction.
Yeah.
Not every deck can have a pivot like that, and I don't think that's a reliable pivot because it's really hard to draw Tavish. But if you can get Tavish in play on turn 6, you can win games that way.
Yeah. So we may play that deck in a week or two just to kind of check it out. But tonight we are going to play this Handbuff Paladin, and it's fun. I'm looking forward to it. So, with that said, if you are joining us on YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
And don't forget to order your McBanner face with cheese.
Okay, you broke me. That one broke me. Okay. Oh, man. That's funny.
All right. So are you driving this week? I don't think we ever talked about who was driving.
I mean, I can drive.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah.
Spinning that wheel. Let's make sure my spectate's on. It is.
Okay.
I haven't played THL in a couple seasons, so I haven't had a reason to turn it off.
Right.
Oceanpod people are returning this season. I am not going to be on the team. I'm slotting in as a sub when needed,
Okay.
but just because of my schedule. But I am being replaced by Dragon Rider, so I'm really excited for that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So we got Druid. I would really like to see an Iron Deep Trog.
Okay.
Really would.
So, should we keep the Hand of a Doll and throw back the other two, the Vindicator and the Bridge?
I think this is probably safe, because if we do get Trog, we want to try and kind of trot him out on turn 1, then Hand of a Doll him turn 2.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's what we do.
Oh, that's a whiff. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll draw him.
That's really bad.
No, back to the Vindicator. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, all we can do here is pass on turn 1.
That is a bad start, to say the least. Oh, we draw the Hold the Bridge. If we draw the other Hold the Bridge, that's going to make our Stonehearth Vindicator dead.
Yeah.
Let's just hero power, see what we can get next turn. Probably going to Hold the Bridge next turn. This looks like it might be a slower Druid, but even the taunt token Druid kind of takes a little while to ramp, to get itself going.
Mm-hmm.
So is he going to rush in? He is, but he is buffing it.
Okay. Oh, that's a even worse draw.
Yeah, but that gives me a little hope. I think we just have to Stonehearth, and then we'll draw the other Hold the Bridge and buff it.
Okay.
It's really our only option at this point.
Yeah.
He's going to have to run both minions in to clear this, or his face and the 4-1.
Correct.
Oh, man, this is bad. Park Panther. At least it killed the Park Panther. Righteous Hand of a Doll?
That's what I was thinking.
We just got to put some roadblocks in, and we're going to have to rely on Lightforge Carriel, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we draw another one. Oh, the Noble Mount's not terrible for next turn, even if we have to do it with the hero power. Yeah, this is a bad.
So he's gonna use
bad
face
draw.
and then clear.
That's fine. Yeah. You know, that's okay. If he has the squirrel, that's good. That is also good. Okay, we're go. Oh.
Is it too late though?
Well, no, because the Trog is going to have Divine Shield, and then we're going to buff it with Hand of a Doll. So that's going to make it a 2/3. It's going to turn into a 4/4 with Divine Shield.
Okay.
So he's got to play something from hand.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. I would have liked to hold it and put Blessing of Authority on it.
Right.
But honestly, if it can stay alive, Blessing Authority next turn might win us the game. Of course, then we could hold the bridge too next turn.
Shapeshift, remove the Divine Shield.
Okay. But how does he do the last bit of... He has to have a rush minion. If he buffs this, he does. Boom. Okay, that deals with one. He's still in the same position he was just a second ago, but now he's down a minion, and we have a Divine Shield minion up. Oh yeah, we just took control of this.
Blessing of Authority,
Ooh.
or
Okay,
Iron Deep and Blessing.
I think we Iron Deep in Blessing
Okay.
because that's going to give us a 4/4 that has the horse in it, and then we will have a 9/10
Yeah.
next to it,
Yeah.
and he might create 2 more copies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we just took control of this game. And then he has to deal with this board, and we have Light Force Carriel next turn.
Right.
So if he deals with this by flooding the board and then deciding he wants to race us and just puts a bunch of minions in play,
We
our
drop
Light Force
Carriel
Carriel is
and
gonna
win.
gonna clean it up.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So Light Force Carriel doesn't deal with this board entirely.
If we top deck, nope. I was gonna say if we top deck Battleground Battlemaster, this is over. But
Yeah. Definitely. I think we Light Force Carriel and hit the Oracle of Elune.
yeah.
So we start there.
Yep. And then we just swing 13 to face.
I think we just go face. Now, see, both of these can deal with that, but if we trade one of those in, the other one just deals with it. So we just go face. This sets us up for a 2-turn. Well, with the hero power, it's not quite 2-turn because of with the weapon. But yeah, there we go. Trog won us that game.
Yep.
Trog won us that game. We
Absolutely.
didn't get it early, but it won us that game. Iron Deep Trog. Ooh, I just hit Lieutenant Commander.
Congrats.
Nice. Cool. Trog may be another card. Well, now I got to go for Commander. I love the honor system. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Before this event, it would have just been, hey, I got a star. And now I got a star. I got progress on this. I got another golden card. It just feels exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I love Hearthstone right now. Trog may be a card that needs also a nerf, but I think we need to give it another week. Oh. So we might see an example
of Owl-terac.
So we need to pressure fast.
So do we keep everything but Samuro?
I don't think the Ram Commander is going to help us because we're not going to have enough stuff to rush into.
Okay.
And the Samuro's not going to help us because he's not going to win on board.
Right.
I think we coin out McGurgle into a Hand of Adal.
Okay.
I mean, let's see what else we draw. But I think that's going to be our play. Ooh, maybe
Noble
coin
Mount.
out McGurgle into a Noble Mount if he pops the Divine Shield.
All right. Coin McGurgle.
The Battlemaster can help us. So we'll coin McGurgle. They're not the quest variant, but quest variant's not the best version.
Right.
He's gonna want to tap. But he has a threat on the board. So he's going through his hand, figuring out, okay, this is the order I need to play stuff. Oh.
I think we stick with the Noble Mount play, and then we Iron Deep Hand of Adal next turn.
This is why I don't like that play. First off, the McGurgle already has Divine Shield.
Okay.
So the mount doesn't help.
Doesn't help it.
Also, the Hand of Adal only puts Deep Trog to 3 health, and he has single spell that can
to
kill
2
that.
health.
So,
no, you're right. Hand of Adal. Yeah. It only puts it to 2 health.
So I think we put Hand of Adal
on McGurgle. Okay.
And save the Noble Mount for Trog.
Okay.
This is more damage now.
Yeah.
Which he has to deal with. And then the Trog with the Divine Shield is usually they have spells to remove minions, and that's going to snowball for him if that's what he has to do. He backfires, so he's ignoring McGurgle, and he backfired before he played the Rod, which is important to note because that's not progress towards a quest.
Yeah. So Iron Deep, Noble Mount, Swing Face.
Yep. And now we have the Hand of Adal for next turn, or even better, we can
Knot of Anointment.
Knight of Anointment and possibly draw the Hold the Bridge.
Yeah.
If he pops off this Divine Shield, which would then create 2 more. Or another Trog.
Yeah.
So a total of 2. Now, how they usually do this is they want to do like pop the shields, create a Trog, and then do a board clear to clear both Trogs at the same time. But he's at 4 mana, and I don't think it's going to be very easy since he hasn't gotten the Rod. Now, here he wants to play the Rod, but we have pressure. This is a Rod turn. His combo tells him to play Rod this turn. If he doesn't have it, that's great for us. Is it 10? That's going to draw another card. Is he going to burn a card?
No.
Tradable?
Yeah.
He's going to burn a card.
He is.
It's Owl. Oh,
ooh, that's really good.
I think...
Ignore and override and just go face.
Sunwing and just swing face, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they can deal with the Trog, but that's all they're doing is dealing with the Trog. Oh, okay. There's Bloodmates. That's the key part of their damage for board clear and draw. So they'll pop this and then cast a spell to kill the Trog. But that's 8 damage sitting on board.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a board clear? What's a 3 damage board clear? There isn't a 3 damage board clear unless they use Moarg. There's Moarg. There's Drain Soul. That deals with Trog. That'll give him some health back. Do we have to clear that Moarg? I think we do.
Yeah, I think you use the Squawker to clear that, and then I think you play Bannerman and Hand of Adal on the Warhorse, don't you?
I think so. So we clear the Moarg. We Bannerman, and I'm Bannermaning on the far left, and then Hand of Adal, because I want to put my big guys together for, because this is lethal with Battleground Battlemaster.
Correct.
If he doesn't clear anything. If he doesn't clear anything, which is unlikely.
He's still not played a Rod, and he's on turn 6, and...
No. And that means his Owl is full costed. So without the Rod discount, the Owl is at least 7 cost right now.
Right.
I suspect he has the Rod. He just hasn't found a good time he can play it. We've kept enough pressure. Okay. Well, that deals with the board. That does leave a 1/1. Oh, no. Why didn't he play? He should have played the second full-blown evil.
Yeah.
That was a misplay. I think that was a misplay. So we've played both Hand of Adals.
So,
right?
Yes, but we haven't played any Hold the Bridge yet.
So what I'm saying is if we Stonehearth, we're guaranteed to get Hold the Bridge.
Yes.
Which puts Divine Shield.
Yeah, so I think we Stonehearth, play the 0-cost Hold the Bridge, and then follow that up with Goody 2 Shields.
I like that play, and I agree with you. And then Goody 2 Shields going in the middle to kind of set up that Battlemaster. And more Divine Shields.
Yeah.
You gonna play just what he drew? Did he top deck an answer? No, that's Armor Vendor. He's digging. He's digging without Rod.
Yes. Both of his rods are probably on the bottom of his deck.
That'd be great. That's how they win, to be honest. Big life gain.
So that's not 18, 19, 20,
That's
21,
11.
22.
Oh. No, that's lethal.
Yeah, we have exact
I
lethal.
thought we were one off lethal. Never mind, I did my math wrong. I thought we were one off lethal.
No.
There we go.
Nice.
So that's how you beat a paladin. You just have to keep constant pressure on the board. Divine Seals are pivotal.
It helps if their rods are on the bottom of their deck.
I mean, obviously, we drew decent. I don't think we had the best draw, but we drew decent, and they had bad draws.
That's very true. Very, very true. So, all right, guys, there you go. 2-0, just like that. So,
and we beat LTK.
Yeah, and it beat LTK. So, all right, gang, that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Please hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you've not done so already. And for more details about our patron-only Discord, head on over to patreon.com/heropower. And we'll see you all again next week.
Oh, and Valera's not broken in Mercs. We'll talk about that later. Bye.